Yes, this is the queen of girl world. Yes, a lot of people have an income because of me. Yes, that is me. Hello.
Hello everyone, welcome back to class. I'm your instructor, Professor McGonagall. We're going to be a little bit out of order because Mr. McGonagall and I had to go trade in our car. So today we're going to be looking at Amber's video that was uploaded on the 29th of July. A whole lot has happened, so hang on to your seats, kids. It's about to get rocky. I want to pay really close attention to Amber's choice of words and her use of language because that's frankly what this channel is about. Amber chooses her words very carefully, and that is important to pay attention to because it gives us an insight into what she isn't saying, the things that might be hidden between the lines, so to speak. Unfortunately, Amber misuses a lot of words and uses words to which she does not entirely understand the definition, so we're going to get into that a little bit. Class is in session.
Hey guys, so I originally had a different video that I was gonna have go up today, but I just feel like a lot is happening and it's super overwhelming.
So we're starting off with a super whiny voice, which is going to set us up for what's next.
I don't know, like I'm only one person over here. There's just like so much is being said and I know.
And here's the part where I decided to speed her up to time and a quarter because I've seen this probably a dozen times already and I just can't go through it at regular speed.
No legal terms love to be thrown around like slander, defamation.
And guess who's going to throw those terms around without knowing what they mean?
And 9 times out of 10, people don't really know what they're talking about.
And neither do you, and you're about to prove that.
But I feel like in situations that have been happening recently, there's a lot of slander.
Slander is a false statement, usually made orally, which defames another person. Unlike libel, damages from slander are not presumed and must be proven by the party suing. Keep that in mind, Amber.
There is a lot of defamation.
Defamation is a statement that injures a third party's reputation. Defamation includes libel and slander. Defamation is a tricky area of law as the lines between stating an opinion versus a fact can be vague, and defamation tests the limits of the First Amendment, freedoms of speech and press. To prove defamation, a plaintiff must show 4 things: a false statement purporting to be fact, publication or communication of that statement to a third person, fault amounting to at least negligent, and damages or some harm caused to the reputation of that person or entity who is the subject of the statement. Girl, your views have gone up. You aren't harmed.
Like there's a difference between like gossiping versus like downright, straight up defamation, lies, completely making up stories that aren't true at all.
All of the reaction channels are using publicly available information that was put on the internet by the parties involved.
I told myself I would never talk about this to protect myself.
Why aren't you protecting yourself? Why are you even talking about this?
Because it is scary, because there's a lot that goes in it, but like if I can somehow prove that I'm not lying, then I'm going to do that.
And much like a 4-year-old with cookie crumbs all over her face, Amber's going to attempt to prove that she's not lying.
I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to stand here and do this. Like, I honestly feel
like you're not actually crying.
Pathetic. I feel triggered. I feel just like YouTube is ruining my life.
Then you need to stop doing YouTube, period.
Like, truly ruining my life. And I have gone through a lot with YouTube. I've gone through a fucking lot.
I don't doubt that you have, girl, but whose fault is that? These are all the natural consequences of your own choices.
I have had some serious high highs and I've had some serious low lows, but something about everything that's been happening, it has hit different.
This is a calculated move on Amber's part, and it's going to backfire. Again, this is also obviously performative. There are no tears here.
It has affected me differently than anything else ever has. And seeing what a large chunk of whatever this community is doing, seeing what you guys are doing has made me just not want to do YouTube anymore. That scares me.
Then don't do YouTube anymore. No one is forcing you, and frankly, I think it would be a lot better for your mental health if you just didn't.
Because that means I'm about to drastically change my life if I choose to take a step back. I really don't want to stand here and cry and be whiny.
But that's exactly what you've chosen to do. But you've chosen to stand here and cry and be whiny.
I don't want to do any of that because I do take partial credit into all of this.
Responsibility, Amber. The word you're looking for here is responsibility.
Years ago, I became a troll. A huge troll. I almost asked for the negativity, especially like 2019, 2018, 2017, I almost asked for it. Any attention was good attention for me. Even if it was bad, even if it made me feel like shit. But as someone who's gonna be 34 years old,
Yes, as someone who is about to be 34 years old, you should know better by now.
I regret that. I regret that side of me. But we
Most of us learn from our mistakes, Amber, and choose not to repeat them.
do shit in our 20s that we regret. Unfortunately, it's like this is just staying with me. As much as I grow up, as much as I try to change, whether that just be in my personal life or on YouTube, you guys won't change with me.
I call shenanigans. If you actually did change, your audience would change with you.
You guys aren't changing with me, and I'm just like stuck in this weird girl world, like Amberverse, negative, just like horrible space.
This is the house that you built, Amber. If you look around and you don't like what you see, you have only yourself to blame. And for the record, I believe you could change if you really put some effort into it.
And I want to break up with it. I don't want to be a part of it anymore, and I just don't know what to do.
You absolutely do know what to do, you just don't like your choices.
Stepping away from any sort of job is hard.
And you know this because of the hard time you had stepping away from the one part-time job you've ever held in your life?
And it takes time and thought, and you need to figure out, like, okay, so if I step away, what are my next steps? I have to figure that out. I need to do it in private.
It's just one of the many, many things you need to be doing in private.
But that's not what this is about. I'm scared. I'm scared to talk about this. I am.
Then don't talk about it. Nobody's forcing you.
So many of you thought Valentine was fake.
So we're not going to talk about the real issue. We're going to talk about Valentine.
That was the biggest thing. Valentine isn't real. Valentine isn't real. And I accepted it for what it was. I was like, they don't want to blame me, that's fine. I'm actively having so much fucking anxiety for what I'm about to say. Like,
There are so many ways for you to manage your anxiety that don't involve you using YouTube as your therapist. Like actually going to a real, trained, professional therapist.
Valentine's name is Erica, and Erica had a wife. I'm about to reveal screenshots that I could find because this is the only way that I'm going to prove.
These prove nothing.
But here is me not making time for my friends because I am literally always giving every single part of me to Erica. You guys know I struggle with BPD.
Absolutely not. What we're not going to do is use our diagnosis of borderline personality disorder as an excuse for poor behavior.
So one of those things is when I get into a relationship, my partner literally consumes me.
That's completely unhealthy, and you know where you could learn to do better? Therapy.
Whether they try to or not. Do you guys remember that night when my mom stayed the night with me and we colored like children? And people were like, oh my God, they're such children. Yeah, that was when I was breaking up with Erica. Here's my friend Alexis just being Alexis. And to top it all off, here's a screenshot of me telling Alexis that Erica's wife called me.
It is fully the year 2024. Anyone can Google how to fake text messages and get about a bajillion answers.
Well, I was at a birthday party. Remember that birthday party I went to when I was outside? It was super hot. It was at a park. It was that day. You guys went from believing Valentine was fake to them believing Valentine was my most recent ex, all for entertainment while actively ruining people's lives.
Anyone actively ruining your life is you.
Valentine was real. I have never lied.
Except for all the times that you've admitted you've lied, right?
So many times people be like, why don't you ever talk about her? Like, why don't you ever show her? Why don't we ever hear her? Because of this.
Blaming your audience.
Amberlynn, why are your videos so boring? Like, why aren't people in your videos? Because of this.
Stop blaming your audience.
Amberlynn, why don't you show up at your job more? Why don't you put more effort into your videos? Because of this.
Stop blaming your audience for your poor choices.
Amberlynn, why do you like have an attitude towards reaction channels and to your audience? Because of this.
The audience that watches you and pays your bills, reaction channels who drive audiences to your content, please.
Still through it all, I have been able to manage a positive outlook on life, whether you guys see that or not. I try my hardest in my real life to be happy and bubbly and positive, but
on here I'm going to manipulate you through emotions.
I feel like I'm losing sight of that person. Like the person that I tried so hard to be. Especially once I moved to Oklahoma and moved in by myself. Like, I felt myself changing.
Not in the fundamental ways you need to change.
And being better and improving in multiple different ways. And now I just feel myself backtracking, and that scares me, and I don't want to be in that position.
Go to therapy.
It's just like everyone in this situation is fucking hurting and feeling the gravity of it, while hundreds of people get to just sit back and watch it as if it's entertainment.
They only get to watch it because you allow them to watch it.
These are real lives being messed with. real lives. I can't sit back and let it happen and watch it happen. I can't support it. I can't condone it. Never would. And I know a lot of you don't either. Like, I'm getting so many messages on Instagram every single day of people that are literal, even haters, that are like, this isn't right. Like, what you're going through is not okay. It's something I have very strongly learned.
You can't have strongly learned anything. That's not a phrase in the English language.
And I have known from the beginning, reaction channels don't care about me. Neither do the haters. All they care about, how many views they can get, how much money they can make.
Hypocrisy, thy name is Amber.
And the only way they can do that is by disliking every single thing that I do, nitpicking every single thing that I do, creating drama and fake stories around every single part of my life, and doing it consistently.
Perhaps they're reacting to the very real drama you're bringing to the table.
And that consistently has been wearing on me for years and years and years.
That's something you should discuss with a therapist.
And this is finally the straw that broke the camel's back. And I'm personally hurt, and I'm lost, and I'm confused.
Get to therapy.
And I don't know what to do from here on out.
Why don't you go and get yourself some therapy?
I struggle with BPD.
But I refuse to talk to a therapist about it.
So, like, everything that I'm feeling is normal, and I know that in my rational side. But, like, I'm feeling it at a magnitude that, like, normal people don't feel.
We're not going to try to one-up each other with whose mental illness is worse.
I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. I just know that whatever I say, like, it just feels like there's a large amount of people that are just deaf to my words. But if I can prove that Valentine isn't someone that you guys think it is, there's your proof.
That's about it today, class. A lot of words, not a lot of meaning. There's no homework for anyone but Amberlynn. And your homework, girl, is to please get some therapy.